So this is me, 13 years of collaborating with our wonderful ESL program as part of OCCC Adult Learning Center. And so this is us, all right, Oklahoma City Community College. And for access to this presentation, guys, you can type the bit link that's there at the bottom of your screen there, or at the end, you can scan the QR code if you'd like to look at this slide later. So who we are. Here's an organization chart, very simplified and focusing on the department I belong to, Community Outreach and Education. And I work for OCCC Adult Learning Center as part of our ESL program, one of 3 coordinators. And you can see there how Kahoot has been integrated into our system the last year. So we provide free non-credit classes in ABE, including HSC, ESL, TOEFL, a lot of acronyms I know, English language civics, and integrated education and training. So the graphic shows the current areas this year down the bottom where we've adopted Kahoot EDU. And you'll see hopefully later on how Kahoot's been a key part of this providing student pathways, which we'll see in the next slide. But before we get into that next slide, which will be another graphic, can I get a bit of feedback from you guys through the chat? I'd really be curious to know, and I know we're dealing with admin more than K-12 today, but just put in the chat what your institutional setting is, if you could. K-12, higher ed, adult ed. There'll be some great feedback for us all. Give you a few minutes, a few seconds rather, for that. So that just gives us some, this will just give us some context for what I'm about to share with you. You can see that point 4, authentic and relevant content. Cannot tell you how Kahoot has helped us provide that authentic and relevant content in our classes and in our program. Okay, so let's kind of move on to the next slide here. And this is what I was talking about earlier, that our student pathways. So the core ESL curriculum is this part in the center, working through the blue, college and career readiness, CCRS. Finally, the hope that we all have, of course, for our students is career and life success, getting a job, finding that degree that's going to be a great conduit for finding that job. All right, enough for introductions. Okay, you'll see the agenda. In this agenda, the key part is the middle, how we use Kahoot, and that's what we're going to focus on today. So the essence of this presentation then is in 4 parts, 4 different ways we use Kahoot. You can see it up there. Student engagement and feedback, teacher training and support, curriculum organization, and administration, with a couple of particular aspects of that we'll look at. All right, so this is where the story begins. 2017, my first Kahoot. Let's hop into it. And you don't have to tell me what you think here, okay? You can see it's pretty rudimentary. No images, duplicate, and that tells you, right, that it's not my creation in any way, shape, or form. One of the things I love about Kahoot is that you do not have to ever reinvent the wheel. All right, so there you have 3 key words in the title of this first Kahoot: duplicate, ESL, and fun. Look at that last word. As I think you'll all agree, fun is the last word here, but also fun always has the last word with Kahoot, pun intended. All right, so fun is the key to wanting to come to class. Without the promise of something interesting and new, I think we're a lot less inclined to even turn up to class. And just the feedback from our students has kind of basically confirmed that. So let me go back here. And so that was 2017, a look back then. Let's take a more recent look back. We thought that, wouldn't it be great if we could not just of me and a few other teachers who are using Kahoot, benefit from Kahoot. I wonder if we could actually work as a team and get some real expert advice from here. Well, we had the best of expert advice. In 2021, we sent out an email looking for help, and that help came in bundles and through you amazing experts at Kahoot. You got us set up. The last year, we've had Kahoot EDU, and it's been a game changer for us. I just want to let you know. Coming back to having said that to you guys in the chat, maybe you can tell me, how long have you or your program been using Kahoot? Take a minute just to put how long you've been associated with Kahoot. So for me, it's about 5 years. For our program, it's been a year. So what about you? All right, here's another chance to think a little bit. There are 3 headings there that are missing. Hopefully you can see that. The missing headings, right? You can take a guess and think from the context what those headings might be. These are kind of 3 key words I wanted to kick off the discussion using that kind of defined Kahoot for us in our program. So that first one on the left is probably pretty easy, right? You were probably told never to use the same word in a definition. Big hint, engagement. It's the key to everything when it comes to teaching, as far as I'm concerned. So Kahoot helps us all engage our audiences, teachers and students alike, at every level and stage. Not just seasoned presenters, seasoned teachers, but brand new teachers. We'll talk about that later as we talk about onboarding new teachers. So what do you think the second one is? Team folders, standardized curricula, organization. Maybe some of you got that. The last one is important too. And this kind of Kahoot is really great at, you can fit it to any teaching style. You can fit it to any course. I know I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. You've got a variety of optionalities in programming and teaching and learning processes. You can do the asynchronous or synchronous teaching, learning, or training. So it starts with the letter F. Come on, guys, you can do it. I know some of you got it, flexibility. All right, here's an example of that flexibility that I like. If you see this image down there, it's kind of a weird sort of question, isn't it? How do you feel right now? But this is the way I like to start every single Kahoot I do, whether it's with students, with teachers, with admin. It's a good way to check in. It's a good way to break the ice as well. You can see that picture. For a bit of context there, that particular Kahoot was given at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you saw the questions there, might give you some context for why I asked that question. Okay. In the afternoon, of course, we're a little sleepy sometimes, aren't we? A little sleepy, a little bloated. So that flexibility is what I really love. Anyway, coming back to these 4 key elements that we're going to talk about today in more detail. So what's your favorite engagement tool? You don't have to put this one in the chat. Just think about it though. What's your favorite engagement tool? Sometimes we know the answers to all these questions, but it's good to self-reflect. What is my favorite engagement tool? Maybe I'm so much about engagement, I just forget which tools I'm using. But anyway, here's kind of an intentional moment for us. What do we use to engage our students? And this was given, this particular Kahoot, this extract here on the image, to our teachers at an ESL forum, which we do monthly as a kind of informal check-in with our teachers. They just love it. And this, I guess, was question 5. It was a word cloud. And the question was, what's your favorite tool for student engagement? So I thought it would be interesting for you guys to see Kahoot is right there in this front and center. Okay. Continuing on student engagement. So we use Kahoot as a class review tool. If you look at the bottom there, student attention and retention. So that attention is gained through engagement. We spoke a little bit about that already. The retention, I'd like to kind of look at retention in terms of one thing that helps retain our students is that helping them over those obstacles to learning. And you see that difficult question involved there. That's a feature I really like in Kahoot that enables and empowers students, helps them over those challenging questions and concepts in their courses by reviewing those questions in a more profound way. So key thing on this slide I want you to notice are the two bolded words, combine and difficult question. And these are two very simple features that we love. The combine button and the difficult questions feature, which you'll find by accessing the reports. All right, so we can even do this together if you like. We're going to do this together. So the combine function just kind of, for those who don't know, brings two or more previously made Kahoots into one. It's as easy as going into your group EDU account library and then selecting the Kahoots you want to include. And then at the press of a button, you've combined those two Kahoots. It's a really great tool. In fact, I'm going to show you in the next couple of slides how we do this. So using that combine feature, you can consolidate not just lesson-based quizzes into a complete unit review, and I use that a lot. Or you can even make a semester or comprehensive quizzes by combining various unit reviews in a particular curriculum that you're using. All right. Note that anything that says unit review in this image has been a combination of a number of other lesson reviews that I'll put together in that particular unit for our program. All right, let's see the difficult questions. This is just an example of a quiz I gave our transitioning students to the workforce in a higher level, PS5, the 5th level. You'll see that in just a minute in more detail. But the resume quiz key points. Look down the bottom. I want you to focus on that. See where it says difficult questions with the arrow. Right down the bottom in green, it says create a new Kahoot with only the difficult questions. So if you are on the real screen, you would just click create. In fact, we're going to get to that real screen right now. Let's see how we create a new Kahoot, just pressing that button there. So we have how many difficult questions? You can see there are 5, right? So we're going to put those 5 out of a total of 17 questions into a separate Kahoot. Let's do this. This is so empowering for our students. So now you'll see there are 5 questions here. And all you have to do is save it. And it's one and done. All right, so I'm not going to save that. What I'm going to do is exit out of that, and I want to show you another feature, and that is the combine feature. So let's look at the combine feature here. So I go into the OCCC, our OCCC folder. Go to library in that folder. Team folders. It's easy once you get the hang of it. And this is our core curriculum. And for example, guys, if I wanted to put together these two, PS5 Unit 1 Kahoot with the present Unreal Conditional, and combine those, I just press combine. It's as easy as that. And I can change the title to suit our preferences and just press that button, create. Then you have a brand new Kahoot, which is a combination of work you've already done. So once again, no need to reinvent the wheel. All right, so hopefully you're still following the main slides here. So we go to teacher training and support, the second of 4 items I want to cover. So if we look at that, onboarding and continuing ed training or professional development, these are aspects of that we use Kahoot for. That, in fact, all of these headings here, new teacher trainings, ESL forums, which are monthly. As I said, our teachers just love that. Introducing new curriculum. We used one for a recent introduction of our new curriculum. For our new grant cycle, we're just coming into a new 4-year grant cycle. So we used that recently for our teachers, just by way of introducing the new curriculum. Teacher in-services, and preparation for observations and evaluations. Using it to encourage self-reflection and communicate expectations, which, as you know, as administrators, for those of you out there who are coordinators or administrators, so crucial in setting our teachers and staff up for success. And we've used, I think, really in a pretty beneficial way, Kahoot to that effect. So you can share with teachers what they need to be aware of for the observation and final evaluation. So these are 2 components of our evaluation process that are really important. So keywords here are feedback, engagement, and you can clarify criteria. But here's an example. I want you to focus right now on this image and look at those 2 questions, question 9 and question 10, which is part of the quiz I'll share with you in just a minute. What are 3 parts of our teacher formal evaluations? I want to give you a bit of a chance to think, what might be your answer to that question? I know we don't have the luxury or benefit or the fun of a live Kahoot, but we're going to mimic a Kahoot. Pretend you're in a Kahoot, and these are 2 of the questions. Which of those would you choose? If you chose blood, sweat, and tears, that would be kind of right, but it wouldn't be the best answer. But if you chose that third one, teaching, record keeping, and professionalism, that's what's exactly listed in our teacher formal evaluations. So that's really important for them to know that that's what they're being partly evaluated on. So what are 4 things that will be evaluated on during the observation, separating that final evaluation from the observation? Of course, the observation is part of that final evaluation. What do you think the 4 things are? We'll give you a hint. All of the above is kind of a trick because we often think that's the right answer in Kahoots, don't we? Do you think it's all about time? First, last, middle, 15 minutes, and use of break time? A bit convoluted, isn't it? If you chose shared agenda, student engagement, and use of technology and professionalism, you were right. Full marks for that. Okay, so don't forget, this question was on evaluation. Let's hop into it and just see, for better understanding and context, how this might look. So this was in our spring forum, number 3, for our teachers this April. Once again, how do you feel right now? That icebreaker. Who said the unexamined life is worth living? Is not worth living? You might see that guy on the right. That's actually Socrates. So that was kind of a hint I was able to give my teachers there, and they enjoyed that. Most of them got that one right. Okay, so you've got some questions, kind of more chatty questions, off the cuff, icebreaker kind of questions. And then we go down to the big 3 at the end, which gets kind of back to the meat in the sandwich. Okay, so giving you a bit of an idea of how we use it, which is what this presentation is all about. Okay, still on teacher training and support. Kahoot, as I kind of alluded to earlier, has benefited our program so much in terms of introducing new teachers to our program. And helping new teachers get over that learning curve, particularly those that might not necessarily have a strong ESL background. We can provide them with this whole resource library, which is curriculum focused, and fun focused as well. So that all comes into inspiration. Our new teachers see the team approach, and it's part of this kind of family approach, which we try to convey to our staff and teachers and everyone. It's part of a comprehensive system of support, and which begins at onboarding and hopefully never ends, right? The teacher's able to be master of ceremonies, that as we often I feel that's kind of what happens a lot when you give a Kahoot. And the Discover tool, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is where we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Okay, point 3, big point 3. Category 3, curriculum organization. So I kind of alluded to that just a minute or two ago. Kahoot EDU allows us to build out that resource library, which is such a tremendous gift to us. It enables us also to integrate anything we create into a standardized curriculum. And you saw that with the folders a little bit from before, but we're going to take a deeper dive into the folders in just a minute. Okay, that ease of access to class content and Kahoots for new teachers. We spoke about that. You'll see up the top there, hopefully you can see that PS5 4, 3, 2, 1. And of course, that's our core curriculum. All right, so here's like the 30,000-foot view of what we did in the first attempt using Kahoot EDU. Getting better all the time, right? Okay, so you've got the team folders there. And we're hopping into, from the team folders, you can see we kind of dug a bit deeper from the ILC into kind of our IET program. One of the programs we did this past year will be continuing as Farm Tech, which has been really successful. Okay, so, all right, moving through. We've got 3 key words here: attendance, feedback, and feedback. One is from the teacher, one is from the student. All these things we use to improve our program. Okay, so up until now, we've used info in the reports from the assigned Kahoots that we give outside of class to see which students, in fact, are spending time outside of class hours. In the near future, I plan to explore more options, and we're working on that with you guys, who are just amazing. So we can actually tell exactly how much time is being spent outside the classroom. So for any of you that work for maybe a federally funded institution such as ours, this is going to translate into data for funding purposes, which is really exciting for me. Okay. So currently exploring this protocol possibility. You've got enormous potential with the reports that Kahoot provides in the reports tab. Can even download and print reports. Still a work in progress, which is, what we call coming attractions, right? But also it's part of the excitement of being part of this whole movement. All right, so teacher performance and feedback. Up until now, we've gathered feedback during the one-on-one meetings with our teachers, but in the future, we plan to gather teacher feedback using Kahoot surveys in a group forum context. All right, so here's a quick look at an example of a focus group we did with our students, and the feedback from which was incredibly valuable in terms of how we can improve our program. So this is what we did with a few of the groups we met with, the students about a month ago, just before class is finished. So you can see those questions there that might be relevant for you in your program as well. For example, trying to determine should your classes be more AM or PM? Should they be more in person or online? All right, so that's just some ideas there for you. The ESL program, we're currently fully on board with Kahoot EDU. We're just improving all the time the way we use it. The HSC ELL program, we're working on this next semester. We do have plans for the future. We haven't fully revealed those, and we don't fully know exactly how far it's going to go. We're hoping to extend our reach even further into the college, looking at possibilities there. So, all right, so we're just about there. Teacher testimonials. We have some great feedback every day in class from our students, but I thought it might be useful for you to have some feedback from our teachers, since this is addressing how we work with our teachers and how our programs can benefit from Kahoot EDU. So if you look there from Anna's feedback, she has some great thoughts there. Take a look at that for a minute and see which ones might speak more to you in your program. For example, what might be your favorite? You can put that in the chat if you like. I like student competition mode. Of course, you've always got the team competition. If students don't feel comfortable with that individual kind of competition, you can combine the two. I love team mode as well. Here's a second one I really liked, was how Kahoot can change our attitudes. Isn't that where it's at? If you can change someone's attitude, they can do anything, and you can do anything with them. Is that they'll see that Kahoot goes way beyond the live classroom. So I'll leave it at that. But thanks, Hannah, for the opportunity.